Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Peter Barber. I'm primarily a professional opera singer, music producer, and a bass vocalist. Today we are returning to Morissette performing Akin Kanalang live on Wish 107.5 bus. So I recently did my first video for Morissette, Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. It has gotten an overwhelmingly positive response and a ton of views and a ton of flooding requests to do more content from her. So I think this is her most popular release yet. It has almost 160 million views on this video, which is wild. She's super talented. I'm very excited to listen to her more and dissect what's going on and analyze her voice, which, by the way, is what we will be doing today. This is a reaction and analysis video, so I will be pausing to talk about vocal technique, musical choices, artistic choices, and all that good stuff. So if you'd like to learn a lot more about, what she's doing and how she's doing it, this is the video for you. If you want to watch her performance straight through, I will include a link in the description that you can go check out, and then you can come back if you would like to learn more. So guys, please do like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please leave a comment for the algorithm. Could be anything from Morissette rocks to Peter, thanks for the analysis, to hey, what's up. Could be an exclamation point. It doesn't matter. The point is that the comment helps the algorithm. And if I am bringing a lot to your musical experience, please do consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Link is also in the description below. And without further ado, let's check out Morissette performing Akin Kanalang. Coffee. Gotta have it. Look at that smile.
Wish 107.5.
Bakit hindi mo maramdaman? Ikaw sa akin ay mahalaga.
So this isn't Filipino, so obviously I'm not going to know what she's saying exactly. I did look up the translation of the title. As far as Google knows, it means "you are mine," but that's as far as I'll know in that regard. But I'm here to talk more about the vocal analysis anyway, and not so much about the poetry. There's only so much analysis one can do, and I am by no means a poet. So let's just talk about what she's doing vocally in this first section here.
Wish 107.5.
Bakit hindi mo maramdaman? Ikaw sa akin ay mahalaga.
A very beautiful, very simple chord progression that I absolutely love. Vocally, she's keeping it very intimate, very soft, very breathy. This is kind of that almost like she's whispering in your ear kind of singing. It's supposed to be like right there and connective, like human to human connection. That's what this kind of singing is really good for. I use the word intimate to describe this kind of singing. It's breathy, so there's a lot of extra air coming through the vocal folds. That literally means the vocal folds for each oscillation they have, that they are open for a longer period of time as opposed to being closed for a longer period of time. This is called the closed quotient. And the higher your closed quotient is, the more amount of time the vocal folds are together during each one of those oscillations, and that creates a more powerful sound, a more efficient sound, a more robust sound. There's a lot more higher harmonic content and frequency in the sound. This is great. This is what you want as an opera singer, because you have to have so much cut in your sound that you can sing with an orchestra without a microphone. So what she's doing here is the opposite of that. And of course it's intentional, because we know she can get cut in her sound based on the belting we heard in Never Enough. So she's doing this to really, this kind of singing really draws you in. It makes you listen closely, and it shows a kind of intimacy in the voice where you're not going for something powerful. You're not going to sing in someone's face. You're really going for that soft kind of one-on-one connective singing. And so I think she captures that really nicely here in this first phrase.
Akin ay mahalaga. sa'yo'y kaibigan lamang.
I love that she lets that nice natural vibrato come in too, which means if you have a nice free spinning vibrato, that means you are not holding a bunch of tension in the vocal apparatus and you've got a consistent flow of air coming out from your breath support system. So if you can do that straight tone for a second and then relax into vibrato, that means you've got a nice control over those systems that are working there. So then she just lets the vibrato come in naturally because there isn't tension. There's nothing grabbing here to try and make the sound happen. It's a very free-flowing sound. It's a good sign of healthy singing. So before we go on, you can already tell now that she's ascending to a higher place in her vocal range, remaining fully connected to her chest voice, you can hear what I was talking about earlier, how the vocal folds are now getting much more closure. That closed quotient is getting higher. And you can hear the kind of bite and edge that comes into the sound, that efficient sound you get in the high chest voice, because the vocal folds are stretching and they've got to be tighter to maintain an efficient sound as you ascend. By tighter, I mean they're coming together more. Is a better way to describe it. And you hear that as she ascends up into her belt, up getting into her belt register. And it kind of scales 1 to 1. It's like each pitch she goes up higher, the vocal folds become more and more efficient, and the closed quotient gets higher. That's a perfect way. Just as she goes up, vocal folds, the closed quotient goes up. As she comes down, a little more breath comes through. It's a very natural thing. You kind of have to introduce more pressure on purpose to close the vocal folds really tightly at the bottom. Again, something we have to do in opera because you have to have that crazy vocal fold closure at every point in your range. It's when it's more naturally done like this, the vocal folds are more relaxed at the bottom. It's closer to your speaking voice and so on. And then as you ascend, you have to invoke the mechanisms to keep that vocal, or to make that vocal fold closure happen, so that, you know, if you go up into your high belt range, your voice is not cracking, and you've got nice stability there. So we see that perfectly as she goes up, the vocal folds come together more, and as she comes down, the vocal folds relax more. And that's the natural approach to your range, really. Singing opera is in a lot of ways not natural. It's very, very highly trained, and you train your voice to do things that it doesn't want to do naturally. Also perfectly in tune, singing live, by the way. And it's not easy to do. When you're singing with headphones on in a studio-like setting, to sing perfectly in tune is a very challenging thing. And she's doing a great job. There's the title. That's that squeak people were telling me about. I think she might have done it in the last video. I had never heard it before. I called it like a whistle tone or something, which technically it is, but apparently this is one of her stylistic characteristics that she will throw into a song, is this little, like, people call it a squeak, I guess, the Morissette squeak or something like that. I don't even know if we could find a pitch on it. It's going to be way up here somewhere. No, there's no way I can pitch that. No, it's beyond my you know, what my ears are used to hearing. It's really high though. That's interesting. So in the middle of this belting, she takes a lighter approach, a lighter mechanism in her voice for a second here. Belt, belt, belt. Lighter. Back to belting. That's cool. I like that. A little contrast there. So she goes from staying in this, upper chest belt range, and then she intentionally pulls it back for like a more intimate moment in the middle of this. Really, this is a power ballad. I mean, like the drum with like these like soaring strings. This is totally a power ballad by Structure, and I like that she put a little intimate moment there. I don't know what she's saying, but I'm guessing it reflects the text. I mean, you can tell she's very connected to the words she's saying here. Clearly cares a lot about this music, cares a lot about this song. I don't know the story with this song. I don't know if she wrote it or if it was written for her or what, but there's obviously a very strong emotional connection, and that's very easy to see when a performer really is connected to the music they're singing, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a lot of why we like watching good performers. So she's very invested. She's doing a great job. Nice riff. Something like that. And it keeps going. Yes, give me all right. I always talk about tasteful riffs. Tasteful riffs. I think I first heard this like in my undergrad a cappella group. It's where you all know what riffing is. It's the movement in the voice that I was just showing there. All those little embellishments, you'd call them, to the otherwise simple melody. Tasteful riffing, right? There's tasteful riffing and non-tasteful riffing, in my opinion. Tasteful riffing is where you're adding your own spice and your own flair. You're bringing your own artistry to the melody, but not for the point of showing off that you can do it. Truly to the point of adding a little bit to the music. You're still serving the music. Non-tasteful riffing is when you're just riffing to show that you can riff. Like just showing off, basically. So what we're getting from Morissette now is what I would consider very tasteful riffing, where she's adding a little bit, but she's not saying, hey, look at me, I can riff so well. She's saying, for me, adding these riffs to this music empowers the music and emboldens my connection to the music. And this is me expressing myself through voice, not saying, look, I'm so good, I can riff. So I think she's adding a lot of really wonderful little moments that would otherwise still be good. They'd still be good, but she's adding something to this piece. Oh, that listen. Right there at the end, she holds it. Really nice. Love that. I want to flag like an artistic choice she makes here, where she comes so far off the tone of the sound that it's more like a sigh. It's like mostly air. Again, I don't know the words she's saying, but I'm guessing there's a good reason for that little artistic choice, because she's singing intimate, she's singing breathly, but there's this one moment I just heard where it really feels more like a sigh, which I'm guessing relates directly to what she's saying in the text. Artistic choice to, sacrifice tone of the voice or sacrifice efficiency to help convey the message, which is what it's all about. There. Nah. That first note there right after that riff. So a little different approach vocally from what I remember she did the first time we came to this bridge. Again, a few tasteful riffs, a little variation thrown in there, and the melody itself changed a little bit. It sounded like she was up higher a bit more without backtracking. I think she was just opting for some higher notes there instead, which again, you get to the second bridge of the song. It's all about structuring the piece so you keep revving up intensity until you climax it. And then the final section of most songs is like it brings it back to kind of where you started. So second chorus, and then she's probably going to come back to the third chorus in like a minute and a half, and it's going to be even more intense. That's different for sure. I think she went lower there the first time.
Akin ka na lang ang dinadasal sa araw-araw.
Squeak again.
Akin ka na lang, akin ka na lang.
Ah, yes. That's what I'm talking about. You catch that little riff? Like, totally not just showing off. It's just a little embellishment. Just a little extra care taken. That's different from the first time.
Akin ka na lang at maghihintay hanggang akin ka na.
Okay, cool. So remember the first chorus I mentioned, she brought it back to a little intimate place and then went back to the building. I think for this one, she went to an intimate place for a slightly shorter period of time before going back to the belt.
Akin ka na lang
Right here.
at maghihintay hanggang
And then right back to the belting.
akin ka na. Giling.
Okay, new section. Oh! Okay, I gotta prepare for that. Before she does a major whistle tone. What was I gonna say? I got distracted by that last second there. Oh yeah, it is much harder to support your singing sitting down. A really great training to do is to sing through your repertoire sitting down, and if you can sing it sitting down, you can most definitely sing it standing up. The breast support system just works better standing. So the fact that she's A, doing it live, B, with all this studio crap, which makes it harder, and she's sitting down. It's like all the odds are against her to give a good performance, and here she is nailing it. Nailing every bit of it. It's really impressive. I can pitch that one. An A6? A6 whistle tone. An octave higher than what I was just doing. And riffing. Riffing all the while. Another new section. In minor. God damn. That's awesome. That was this is a really beautiful song. Like both arrangement wise and the instrumentation's great and the chords are powerful and her voice of course adds even more to that, but the song itself, the foundation's very strong. Let's see what she just belted up to. Really nice high belt. A high E. An E5. That sounds fully connected to chest voice, which is a very, very high belt. And again, sitting down. Yes. With a little a little grit thrown in there. Okay, remember about a minute ago I said in about a minute and a half we're going to come back to the third chorus and she's going to be belting even more intensely and even higher? That's what's happening right now. Also, something cool in the arrangement, too. All the instruments cut out for just a split second there, if you listen carefully. Is it that... And then the bass guitar goes... And it cuts out for like a split second. I just want to flag that because that's cool. Okay, so right here, this is a great example of efficient use of air. Like I said, when the closed quotient gets higher, the vocal folds come together more during each oscillation. That means you can use less air. It means if you use, the same amount of air as you would on a lower breathy tone versus a high belt, you'd think, because it sounds like more air is being used because the sound is so big and loud and has so much cut to it. Really, you're using much, much, much less air per second of singing. So that's why she can hit this huge belt and then just hold it and hold it, and then riff at the end of it. It's because there's barely any air escaping through the vocal folds, so you can hold the tones much, much longer. That's how that's possible. She just sang for like 15 or 20 seconds on one breath. It's because barely any air is coming through her vocal folds because it's a really efficient sound. Because you'd think in the beginning, it's like when she's singing low and breathy, that sounds like the easier thing as far as vocal fold efficiency. But, she'll sing like a few words and take a breath. It's because there's so much more air coming out. And if there's a lot of air coming out, you have to breathe much more often. Whereas if you have a really efficient tone, like we just saw, then you can sustain this massive belt for like 15 seconds. And it seems superhuman comparing one to the next. But that is how that's possible. And then I said after the big climax, they're going to bring it back to where it started in terms of intimacy. Give me that riff.
Wish exclusive on Wish 1075.
Okay, that I didn't expect. I did not expect her to end the piece on a whistle tone.
5.
Hey Wishers, this is Morissette. For more Wish-exclusive videos,
Click here.
Okay, she's awesome. That was really, really, really excellent. Just really excellent singing overall. Great vocal control. Great use of air. Great artistic embellishment, making the song her own. Now, I don't know if she performs this, if she does all those riffs every time. I would guess not. I would guess part of them are planned, part of them are what she's feeling in the moment, based on emotions and experience and all that stuff. But what a wonderful performance. Live, with the headphones on, sitting down. I cannot hammer those points home enough. That all three of those things make it much more difficult. So hats off to Morissette, a mega talent from the Philippines, and this is a beautiful piece through and through. Structure, arrangement, vocally, artistically, everything. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like this video. Please go support Morrissette if you aren't already, although I'm sure you are if you found your way here. Subscribe to my channel. Please leave a comment. Hit the bell. And if you felt like I really added to your musical experience with Morrissette on this video, please do consider supporting me as a patron on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Super helpful for me as a young artist and creator. It's where I get a very solid chunk of my income month to month. So that is the best way to support me. So please go check it out. There's a lot of very cool features, and there's tiers going from $1 up to the top where you get, better and better perks, obviously. Go check that out, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you for sure with more Morrissette in the near future. Peace.